Swinging a drive. Right field and deep. Back goes Aquino. It's got a chance. Gone. Get out the tape measure. Long gone.
Fly the W!
Cubs fans, it's time to fly the W with Dustin Rhodes and Paul Crawley-Jean.
Happy Sunday, everybody. It's season 4. It's episode 19 of the Fly the W podcast. Cubs meatloaf against the Padres leaves a bad taste in the mouth, doesn't it, Crawley?
Yeah, boy, oh boy, Dustin, it sure looked like it was going to be a sweep. And for the second straight Sunday in a row, a bullpen implosion, some questionable managerial decisions, and here we are, but, for people wondering, we are back. We are live. We want to hear from you, the Cub fans. I'm sure some people are a little bit frustrated right now. And I know we share your frustrations and there are some questions we all have right now, but we are also going to be keeping this podcast going. So please don't forget to listen, download, and most importantly, review the podcast. If you review it, that kind of gets it bumped up more. And then, we're on the socials. Dustin is over at Mully and Haw. I'm over at Crawley's Cubs. And so you can follow us everywhere that you go. And you can email us at crawleyscubs@gmail.com. Boy, Dustin, if you would have told me earlier this week, hey, Crawley, the Cubs are going to score 52 runs and take 2 or 3 of the Padres, I would have said absolutely. But it just feels a little bit different right now. It just hurts a little sting after a second Sunday meltdown.
A little sting indeed. And we've already got, at least I've already got a new nickname for another Cubs closer. And it's not a good nickname. All right. I'm going Ryan Stressley. Ryan Stressley, Crawley. That is the new Cubs closer. It wasn't a close situation today, but it did not work out, as you mentioned. Questionable managing, sloppy bullpen, and then a little bit of sloppy defense. And here we are, 7-5 Cub fans, and it could be better. But hey, I'll take 2 games over 500 at this point as well, based on the teams that they've been playing. And right where we've got to be falling in love with Kyle Tucker. The guy has already lived up and gone above and beyond what we all thought. But should we rewind, Crawley, all the way back to game number 1, the 4th opening day for our Cubs?
Yeah, 4 opening day for the Cubs. You had Tokyo, you had Arizona. I was at Arizona. It was awesome. And then, you had the Sacramento, which is just a whole nother thing. And then you had the Wrigley home opener. And who else other than Showtime would get the start?
So it's not, I know this ballpark very well and this time of year. So kind of using that, just keeping that in the back of my head and then continuing to pitch. I'm very appreciative of the fans, going out to the bullpen and, listening to the roar of the crowd. It really gives me almost like another layer of armor, another layer of protection that, I can feel. So I'm very appreciative of them.
So that was Shota's translator talking about his second Wrigley opener. He started last year as well. And boy, Dustin, that guy just doesn't disappoint.
No, continues to deliver. Perfect guy for that moment, right? I thought it was the perfect choice, really feeding off of the crowd. I know you're going to tell us some stories about how much buzz there was down in Wrigleyville for the first couple of games. But yeah, he looked awfully good again.
7 1/3 innings. He gave up 1 run on 4 hits, no walks, and 4 Ks. Dustin, his only blip was a solo home run to former friend Martin Maldonado. Yes, he played 4 games with the Cubs in 2019. Dustin, if you would have picked any guy in that powerful Padre lineup to hit a home run, come on. 15-year veteran, he hits a basket shot. You got to be kidding me. We say all the time, the basket giveth and the basket taketh away.
Oh, it sure does. And there was more of that this weekend, right? There was more of that. Yeah, there was a lot of the taketh and giveth away variety home runs with the basket, no doubt.
You see a lot of that in April with these crazy wins, and it wasn't just Shota. He looked great, but another, the defense, the Cubs defense to me has been just so it's been what we've expected. And here's a couple comments about a catch that PCA made.
I thought that was fantastic defense. When the ball was hit, I was thinking, okay, it's probably going to be a double, more than a double, so it's going to be no outs, run on either second or third. But then all of a sudden Pete showed up and caught it, so it was a fantastic play.
I just kind of pulled up at the end. I think once I kind of recognized that it wasn't going to – I think the hardest part about that play is always going to be the basket. But the trajectory kind of tells you how that ball is going to play. So I pulled up at the end and was still able to have enough room to make the play.
So, Dustin, with no outs in the second, Xander Bogaerts hits one deep to center field, and PCA makes a phenomenal catch to Rob Bogaerts. Now, there's no Ivy there, and it's a brick wall. He was able to pull up right in time, and that's what Shota was talking about. Those are the type of defensive plays that turns things around, right? When you got a player, and unfortunately, we got to see how good Jackson Merrill was all weekend, and he got a monster extension, and he deserves it. But if that ball bounces off the wall, 70% of that time, Dustin, that would have been an extra base hit, but not against PCA. So instead of a runner at second or third and no outs, it's just allowed out, right?
Right. I mean, yeah, loud out is a good way to put it. Yeah. I mean, he's special. He's a special defender. Still got a long way to go in the hitting department, but he is a special.
He'll be fine. He's going to have his moments hitting, and that's, again, all you need is him to play this type of defense, and that's fine. And Ian Happ would also make a catch on the very next play on the left field wall in foul territory. And so Bogaerts hits the one to deep center. Merrill hits the one that Happ catches in foul territory, almost like going into the stands. If the Cubs do not win Gold Gloves in all three outfield positions, I'll be shocked. Yep. That's how good they are. And then fifth inning, Shota gives up a leadoff double to Jake Cronenworth, who makes it to third on a sac bunt. Martin Maldonado hits one to Dansby as short. He throws Cronenworth out at home. Just great defense. Dustin, the last time Imanaga pitched the Wrigley opener, he went 6 shutout innings, allowed just 2 hits with 9 strikeouts. I move that Shota Imanaga needs to start every Wrigley opener until it goes south.
I'm fine with that. Sign me up. Sign me up, Crawley. All on board with that.
And as far as the offense, I'll let Ian Happ explain what happened on that game.
Yeah, I think this group, our core group has a lot of experience with these type of games at Wrigley Field. Until you win at Wrigley in those conditions, we score on a walk, an infield hit, and an error, right? I think you got to get guys on base. You have to have opportunities, and we took advantage of them.
The Padres actually outhit the Cubs 6-3 in this game. Cubs offense didn't do much, but like Ian said, the Padres made a few uncharacteristic mistakes and they took advantage. Bottom of the first, Ian hits a single to start off that's the first hit at Wrigley Field this year. But with 2 outs, Michael Busch and Dansby draw walks. The crowd is going crazy. We're all getting louder, and Vasquez walks Nico, walks in the run. The Cubs are up 1-0. But here's the thing, Dustin. Vasquez would sit down the next 12 batters. That stretch ended with a 2-out single by Ian Happ. And then Tucker and Seiya both drew walks to load the bases. That was it for Vasquez. Lefty Yuki Matsui comes into the game. Craig Counsell takes Michael Busch out and he puts Justin Turner to pinch hit. Turner hits one that Bogaerts stops, but the ball's kind of in the outfield grass. Instead of throwing it to first to get the slow-footed Justin Turner, he tries to get Seiya at second, but Seiya beats it. Everybody's safe. Cubs take a 2-1 lead. Bases are still loaded. Dansby hits one to Golden Glover Manny Machado. Ball pops out of his glove. Another run scores. The Cubs lead increases to 3-1. Walk 2 batters, allowed a run to score on an infield single and an error, and the Cubs take advantage, and that's what good teams do. Now,
Exactly.
Dustin.
Exactly. That's what good teams do. Exactly right.
You mentioned your new nickname. 9th inning, Cubs up 3-1. Ryan Stressley, as you say, comes in. He gets the first out, but then gives up a walk and a single, then a ground out. So now the tying run is at second at 2 out. He gets Presley gets Cronenworth to strike out. But Dustin, it isn't easy, and it hasn't been easy so far from
It's
what we've seen.
never easy. It's never easy, right? You got to if you're in a save situation, it's always gut wrenching time. Gut
Right.
wrenching.
And you saw today with the Padres with their closer. And remember, there was talks the Cubs might trade for that guy. I mean, just how easy he made it, throwing, high 90s, throwing triple digits. And then all of a sudden you see it and it doesn't happen. So definitely frustrating in that regard, that it's not easy. And again, if you spend a little bit more money, maybe you get a better closer. That's
Maybe, yeah, maybe, right. Maybe you get a little bit better. But the good news is, Crowley, that the Cubs would play again, another home game. You were at this one as well?
Yep. I was at this game as well. And that one was Matt Boyd versus Nick Pivetta. And
All right.
Dustin, when Ian Happ took the field, it was his 1,000th game played in the MLB. He's played his entire MLB career with the Cubs. The 32nd player in team history, Dustin, the Cubs started 1876, only the 32nd player to reach 1,000 games. He got a huge ovation from the crowd when he came up to bat, tipped his pat, and then proceeded to get buzzed up high by Pivetta. He got his revenge with a double to center, but if the first game was all about pitching, Dustin, the second game was all about hitting. Bottom of the second, runners at first and second, 2 outs. Who else? Carson Kelly hits an RBI single to put the Cubs up 1-0. Ian Happ walks to load the bases for Kyle Tucker, and Pivetta says, "No, thank you. I want no part of that man." He walks him on 5 pitches, Dustin. Even the strike was, a pitcher strike. It was a very, Tucker wasn't going to do anything with it. None of them were really close, and the Cubs led 2-0. Bottom third, Dansby Swanson hit a solo blast to center, his third of the season, to increase it to 3-0. And Nico hit an RBI single in the bottom of the fourth to make it 4-0. And Dustin, you're thinking, okay, 4-0, good. But the Cubs left a lot of men on base. You were worried that would come back to bite them. They left the bases loaded in the second, had the bases loaded and 1 out in the third and did not score, left 2 more in the fourth, and left the bases loaded in the fifth. So you're looking, when you got a lineup like that, Dustin, like the Padres, you don't want to leave that many men on base.
No. And that's a stat that, as long as we've been doing this podcast together, has been an issue, right? It's been an issue. It continues to be an issue. But again, today I'm going to be satisfied that the Cubs are 2 games over 500. But it could feel a lot better. We could be having a way bigger party right now than we are having, Crowley.
Right. And luckily, the Cubs' biggest offensive threat besides Kyle Tucker, who we all predicted in the offseason, Carson Kelly, hit a 3-run home run in the 6th to put this one away and give the Cubs a 7-0 lead. But, Dustin, as we take a look, here is what Carson Kelly had to say about his tremendous start.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great to come in and contribute and, RBI scoring position, put a good swing on a good pitch in the middle of the plate. And, it's always fun to get out there and contribute.
You're Chicago has special the homer here. In that situation.
Yeah, when I was with the Cardinals, I almost had my first homer here. Hit right below the basket, and pretty much almost in the same spot. So pretty cool to pull one out today.
Now, Dustin, how about this stat right here? Through the first 7 games, not including today in 2025, the Cubs catching tandem of Michael Amaya and Carson Kelly are batting .306, 11 for 36, 5 doubles, 1 triple, 1 home run, 13 RBIs, 381 OBP, and a 964 OPS. Together, they rank second in RBI and runs scored and 4th in OPS and average. In 2024, when you had Yan Gomes and Miguel Amaya, Cubs catchers batted .215 with 112 for 525, 21 doubles, 2 triples, 14 home runs, 73 RBIs. So what a swing in that department to have these 2 guys catching.
Yep. It's been great so far. Whoever's in there has delivered, right? Each day, who's ever been behind the dish has more than done their job. It's fantastic.
And I guess, Dustin, I laugh because I was in Sedona when you had Carson Kelly hit for the cycle, but who would have predicted a catcher hits for the cycle?
Right. First time since Mark Grace, 1993. 1993, Crowley.
I swore that, when you watched and you saw how long it'd been, I'm like, okay, Corey Patterson, he's going to be the next one to do it. And then I was thinking to myself, all right, maybe Javi Baez. How about PCA? No, Carson Kelly. Absolutely. That's what you love about baseball. It's one of those things that, you never know what's going to happen. But hey, the hitting was great, but also great was the catching or the pitching. And Dustin, how about this audio from Matt Boyd about what it meant to start this game here at Wrigley?
I got a lot of gratitude just to be part of this ball club, part of this franchise, be able to go pitch in Wrigley Field, in front of these amazing fans, and part of the history here. It's special, and it's something I don't take lightly. I mean, yeah, my grandfather would love this, yeah, it's man, you're gonna make me not want. I don't want to talk about that. I'm gonna make you cry or something. No, it's cool. It's really cool, and I know what it means to. Know what it meant to him. Know what it means to my dad. Just to put on this uniform. So it's pretty cool.
So, Dustin, I was in the left field bleachers on Saturday with my friends,
nice.
Rachel. Yep, Rachel. Happy birthday, Rachel, if you're listening. Riz was out there, Lupe. We were all there. We're in the first row. And we saw Matt Boyd just smiling and taking it all in before he went underneath to the bullpen. But as you heard, his grandfather was a big Cub fan. And so obviously the game had special meaning to him. And he looked great. He pitched 6 scoreless innings, gave up 5 hits, 1 walk, 5 Ks. He's been using his 4-seamer, slider, changeup, sinker, and curve. He kept the Padres off balance and looked great.
He looked great. He really did. Really impressive. There was that uh-oh moment, right? And that comebacker. But he looked really impressive. Really enjoyed watching him on Saturday afternoon. Really did.
And after Boyd's day was done, Nate Pearson comes in. First batter he faces, Gavin Sheets, comes into the game. He hits a rocket, and Mr. 1000, Ian Happ, makes one of the best catches I've ever seen him on a difficult ball, tailing away right by the dirt by the foul line. And, oh, man, I thought he got hurt when that happened.
You had a front row seat for that one, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Now here's my question. And again, I'm all about guys busting their rear ends, and I'm all into the Charlie hustle and everything. But sometimes don't you have to know the moment? You're up. What was the score at that point? 7-0.
Yeah.
Do you need to be leaving your feet? Right? Do you need to be leaving your feet? The game was not on the line. I'm just saying. I just think it was a little much. I'm not sure that was the headiest play. It was great. It was spectacular. Cubs won. He didn't get hurt. But what if he had gotten hurt? That was kind of not the smartest play ever.
Unfortunately, these guys, I mean, I want to say unfortunately, you don't want to take it away from them, but they have a competitive edge and they think they can make every play. And when I saw him, I thought he got shooken up, but he was fine. And so that's what makes him a competitor, and he posts up every day. He's just one of those guys.
Listen, yeah, I just, just one of those things, it's a long season and they need him. So don't need to be diving in a 7-0 game is all I'm saying.
Well, here's Ian Happ talking about what it means to him to play 1,000 games.
Yeah, I was trying not to get emotional out there. It was pretty special. Getting a standing O, being able to, tip the helmet to the fans and teammates, Jason being in the other dugout. All those things were really special and just a really cool moment. Anytime you're on a list like that, it's really cool. I think for me to do it here, have 1,000 games in this uniform in this city, all the great guys that have come through, coaches, people, support staff, everybody that's helped make it happen. I think it means a lot. But it just going out there with the fans, being able to do that. I'm so proud to be a Cub, and I think that short list of 3 is really cool.
When he's talking about that short list of 3, Dustin, only Happ, Mark Grace, and Sean Dunston were drafted by the Cubs and played 1,000 games. So just keep in mind the draft started in 1965. So you'd be like, Billy Williams, Ron said, no, since 1965, just Grace, Dawson, and Happ, since the draft has been initiated, have played their first 1,000 games with the Cubs.
That's pretty impressive. That's a cool list to be part of. There's no doubt about that. So anything else on this 7-1 win, Crowley, you want to share?
No, other than the fact that, 8 players since 1969 Cubs have hit in 1,000 games. Glenn Beckert, Don Kessinger, Ryan Sandberg, Sean Dunston, Mark Grace, Sammy Sosa, Aramis Ramirez, and Anthony Rizzo. And so when you take a look at this list, You wonder one day, maybe 10, 15 years down the line, maybe Ian Happ makes the Cubs Hall of Fame.
Maybe. All right, game number 3 just wrapped up a little bit ago, but let's recap it. We talked about it briefly as we started this one. So Ben Brown got the start this afternoon over at Wrigley.
Oh, my God. What an inning for Brown, that first inning. How about this? Walk, bunt single, walk, strikeout. He drilled Jake Cronenworth in the ribs, gave up another infield single, strikeout. He walked Jason Hayward and got a ground out to end the inning. So the Padres score 3 runs and did not get a ball past the pitcher.
What are you doing walking Jason Hayward, huh? What are you doing walking Jason Hayward?
I cannot believe Cronenworth stayed in the game the way that he got hit in the ribs. And like you said, how the hell do you walk Jason Hayward in the year of our Lord 2025? All
right. Do we want? Can we fast forward? Do you mind if we fast forward a second? How in the world do you not intentionally walk the batter up a run and face Jason Hayward, who hasn't had a hit yet? Why do you pitch to the guy in front of Jason Hayward, walk him, and get to Jason Hayward? Did you feel the same way I did at that moment?
Yeah, they're one of many managerial. It wasn't Craig Counsell's best game, in my opinion. I'll say I think that Craig's had a very good season. I think the team has looked very good. We talked about that before the season, that Craig has his coaches in, he's got his systems in. I think things have looked good. I would say this was not Hayward's or Counsell's greatest game, to be honest with you.
All right, we're agreeing on that. That's for sure. We are agreeing on that, no doubt about it. All right, let's keep going. So Cubs let up some runs in the top of the first inning, but then in the bottom of the first, wow, what an answer! What an answer!
That was a long, wild inning. Brown wasn't the only one with control trouble. Padres starter Kyle Hart walked the first 2 batters. Kyle Tucker singles. Turner hits a sac fly to make it a 3-2 game. Dansby walks, then Nico hits a double that bounced off the glove of Xander Bogaerts at short, heads up base running, but Dustin, with runners at second and third, PCA is up. They call for a safety squeeze. The bunt goes straight to the pitcher. Dansby's out at home. I didn't like that call. That's another thing. Why, when you got this guy on the ropes and he can't throw strikes, do you call PCA for the safety squeeze? I didn't like that much.
Yeah. Weird one. Yeah.
Hart walks Matt Shaw, and he was out of the game after recording only 2 outs and throwing 39 pitches. So Logan Gillespie comes in, and Dustin, twice he gets called for a balk with the bases loaded. Cubs take a 5-3 lead.
When's the last time that happened? I mean, give me two balks. I mean, crazy.
Absolutely bonkers. And the thing that I kind of was looking at here then is, so now they're up 5-3, bottom of the second. All of a sudden, you get a 2-run home run from King Tuck to make it 7-3. Dustin, our good friend Chris Komka put this up earlier. This was before Kyle Tucker's first Cub player with 11 plus hits, 11 plus runs, 11 plus walks, 11 plus RBI in team's first 11 games of the season since Rogers Hornsby in 1929.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Tom Ricketts, if you're listening, dust off the checkbook and sign the man. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, right. Well, I'm not disagreeing with you. We're not gonna get into a Sunday afternoon argument over this. But I do want people to, no matter what, okay, no matter how this thing ends with him, and it's still so early to even, but we're all assuming that he's not going to be here. Enjoy it, right? Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment.
I will enjoy every moment, but that also, but what you're also looking there is that this is a guy that you've been waiting for since Chris Bryant won the MVP since 2016, and you thought you would get more years out of that. Think about the MVPs that the Cubs have had in their storied history. And the fact of the matter is you have a guy right here, to me, and there's a long season, a lot of season to go. But when you look at the whole package, his at-bats, stolen bases, the way his plate discipline, the home runs, everything, this is what you need. And why the reason you're starting off as well as you are as a team is because you got a guy like Kyle Tucker. Okay, so this is we can talk about this more throughout the season. I'm sure we're going to beat this like a dead horse, but the Cubs have the money. You have to sit there sometimes and spend it. And to have a player, I'll never forget, in 1992, Greg Maddux wins the Cy Young, and they let him walk.
Yep.
They let him walk, and then what happened?
But that, I mean, to be fair, just to be fair, that was not under the Ricketts ownership, right? Just to be fair,
Prove to me that you're different than the Tribune or the Wrigley family. Prove to me that you're different and that you recognize that you have a generational talent on this team and that you are going to make him the anchor, the cornerstone for the next 6, 7, 8, 10 years.
It's you're making a great point. I'm with you. I'm with you. But I want to encourage everybody to enjoy it.
Oh, I will.
Enjoy it and put as much pressure as you want to on Cubs ownership, but don't let yourself not enjoy it, is what I'm trying to stress.
I hear you. And after that Turner home run, though, Dustin, this is kind of what scares us occasionally. The Cubs bat went quiet, and that hasn't happened a lot this season. They've been able to add on runs, but after that Tucker home run, the Cubs got nothing on offense, and the Padres weren't finished. Fourth inning, Jackson Merrill hit a 2-run blast to make it a 7-5 game for Ben Brown. That was his last inning of work. Not great. 4 innings, 5 runs, 7 hits, 4 walks, and 5 Ks. Dustin, I don't know. It was very cold. I did not go to the game today, but I can tell you this, he wasn't wearing sleeves and you could tell the pitchers were uncomfortable. Maybe next time wear sleeves.
Yeah, maybe next time wear sleeves. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Top of the 5th, Caleb Thielbar comes in. He gets the first 2 batters out. He walks the next 2 and gave up an RBI single to Luis Ariz, and the Cubs lead was now cut 2-1. So just to keep in mind, Dustin, that's the second walk to come around and score in the game. And so, Julian Merriweather was called in to get the final out. Top of the 6th, Merriweather still in. Who else but Jackson Merrill singles? Then Carson Kelly tries to catch him leading off first. The ball goes into right field, E2. Merrill makes it to third, no outs. Merriweather gets Jake Cronenworth to strike out and then gets Xander Bogaerts to ground out to first. Justin Turner goes home and gets the Speedy Merrill at the plate. Cubs lead is intact. Unfortunately, that wouldn't hold. Porter Hodge comes out in the 8th and immediately walks. Who else? Jackson Merrill. And Merrill would steal second, but Hodge got the next 2 outs before Gavin Sheets singled to tie the game. Cubs had a chance to answer in the bottom of the inning. Nico led off with an infield single, right? Now with PCA up, they had him bunt and Nico made it to second. But Dustin, why not wait 1 or 2 pitches and let Nico try to steal second, then have PCA bunt so that Nico can get to third with 1 out?
I agree. Just 2, you're in a rush, right? There could have been a wild pitch, right? There could a pass ball, something could have happened. You didn't have to do it as fast as they did it. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Right. And so that's the second time that they had PCA bunt right away where I'm scratching my head, right? Bush came into pitch hit. He had an awful at bat, swinging into some real bad pitches. Carson Kelly draws a walk, and then Nico steals third. Ian Happ flies out to end the inning. That takes us to the top of the 9th. Ryan Presley, a.k.a. Stressley, comes into the game. And Dustin, guess what he does? He gives up a leadoff walk.
A leadoff walk. I mean, again, other than a leadoff home run, the last thing you want to do is give up a leadoff walk.
Dustin, at least if you gave up a leadoff home run, you made the guy work for it. You made the guy earn it. The guy earned the home run, tip your hat. You walked him. You gave him the base for free. Yeah. Ridiculous.
Frustrating.
Second inning of a row, a Cubs reliever gives up a leadoff walk in a close game. Luis Ariz would single, but with 2 outs, Manny Machado hits what looks like a inning-ending double play ball, but Justin Turner couldn't make the catch. E3, and now the Cubs trailed 8-7. Dustin, that's how the game would end. And I am sitting here wondering, and I watched the post-game show, and they asked, they were saying, I thought they asked the question very gently. I would not have asked the question as kindly as they did, but they said, was the point of keeping Justin Turner at first so that he could bat in the 9th? And Craig just gave a one-word answer, yes. Dustin, I do not understand. If you gave up a lot to get Michael Busch. The players that you gave the Dodgers to get Michael Busch are going to be stars in this league one day. I believe that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Jackson Ferris and Zaire Hope and stuff like that. But when you look at this, when you have the lead, when the Cubs were still leading just 7-5, At that point, Justin Turner should have come out of first base and they should have had Michael Busch in for defense, just alone on that. I don't get why you would have a 40-year-old third baseman playing first base. Makes no sense. That ball should have been caught, but you cannot tell me that that's a plus defender at first in that situation.
No, it's for sure isn't. It's for sure not. That was a dumb move. That was dumb not to make that switch. I get that I get why Bush didn't start today. I get that, right? But come on.
100% get it. But again, every game where it's close and Justin Turner's at first, I want him out after the 7th inning and I want Michael Busch in.
Listen, Crowley, listen, this is a new day, new week. I mean, we're agreeing on a whole lot of stuff right now, my friend. We're agreeing on a whole lot of stuff right now. All right, so that's how it ended. We don't get the sweep. We move on. This is the Fly the W podcast, and now, Crowley, we are going to find out about your happenings, your travails around Wrigley. But first, don't forget to listen, download, review, subscribe to this podcast. Leave us a 5-star review. All right. Also, email us, crawleysclubhouse@gmail.com. crawleysclubhouse@gmail.com. And don't forget, you can watch us on the Crawley Clubhouse YouTube page. Crawley Clubhouse YouTube page. All right, Crawley. Also, if you're, I can see you, and later on others can see you, and if, those listening and watching live can see us, you got some new Cubs swag.
Yeah, for those of you watching, I see my buddy Steve Scher. I got to spend some time with him at Chase Field in Arizona. We had a blast out there. I really like Chase Field, and with the roof open, we had a fireworks show. Great. My buddy Joey W is saying, I'm sad, but at least we won the series. Agree 100%. Scotty Nelson, former front office exec for the Cubs. Brilliant baseball mind on here watching. Absolutely appreciate all you guys here. But yeah, it was opening day down at Wrigley Field at the friendly confines. Dustin, this was my 25th Cubs home opener. And so if you ever go opening day with the Cubs, it is with me. If you're going with me, it's a whirlwind. Started out with Murphy's. You could see they always got a great sign. Welcome back, Cub fans. Happy home opening day. WGN was down there. I ran into our guy, Ryan Dempster. He was over there. He was on WGN for a little bit. Couple people you should follow. Sam Bernero she is always out at Wrigley Field, and she gets the greatest pictures of the Cubs as they're coming in. Someone I really respect a lot. And of course, Scotty Changone, he is from Marquee. He was out there. The Cubs were doing that blue carpet special again. So as they were coming in, we got to kind of get a little bit of see what the players were all wearing, and they make it special, and the kids really love it. Something to keep in mind, they have changed the age limit for the kids corral. If you want to get autographs as the players come through, it used to be, I want to say 16. I think they've moved it to 14 now. I don't want someone coming in and being disappointed. So if you're a short 16-year-old, say that you're 14 and you should be all right. Right. Let's make sure. Now, we stopped by Almost Home to visit our friends at Q101.
Nice.
And so that was great to see Kelsey Roman from the morning show, good friend of mine. So great to see Kenzie, and she was doing a great job out there. And then I had some friends, Mr. Worldwide, Richie the Bear there. You can see Captain Cubbo in the background. We hit the output, and we had some of the best wings and a good time. Dustin, we bumped into good friend John Vincent, who was singing the anthem. Absolutely did a great job. And look at that weight he's lost. This is me and Stuart McVickard, but Johnny did a great job singing the national anthem. He's been on the podcast before. Great to see him. Now, Cub fans, something new for you to see if you are at the ballpark. This is next to the Cubs store, and this is where that golf store used to be, the Cubs golf store. The Cubs are partnering with Landmark Records. And so this is right next to the Cubs store by Gallagher Way as you're walking in. And if you see here, they have all sorts of vinyl records and posters, and it's a combination like of blues and Cubs in there. It was really cool. And there's a little stage where there's going to be blues musicians, different musicians that are going to come in and play. So if you're somebody that loves,
that's cool.
If you love live music like I do, definitely get down there. It was great. And I'm going to get myself one of these t-shirts. I thought it looked pretty cool. These Landmark Records t-shirts.
Yeah, that is cool. I like that.
So again, if you're watching this on the Crawley's Clubhouse, make sure that you subscribe to that and hit notifications for when we go live. Now, Dustin, I had to get in early, so I didn't get to hear any of the music that day, but I did get my Cubs magnet calendar schedule. I have over 25 of these guys. I love them. This is from an old 1930s Cubs scorecard, this art. Absolutely phenomenal. I did try the new food. For those of you that are interested in the food menu, I know that it's gotten a lot of press right here. I did have the Jibarito sandwich. It's one of many different delicious items that they had here. Now, if you have the Jibarito, this is at the Marquee Diner. And so that is right kind of when you walk into the Marquee. It's got the glowing Marquee red type thing. But oh my God, Dustin, that Jibarito sandwich was absolutely.
All right, well, tell us a little bit about it. I don't know what a Jibarito sandwich is.
It is a Puerto Rican sandwich, right? And so when you eat this thing, it's made of roast beef and it's got garlic aioli and sweet red peppers for garnish. But the trick of it is it's on plantains. That's what's the bun.
Oh, okay.
So it was really, really, really good. Now, this is only going to be here, I think, for this homestand, and then they're going to rotate it out. They also had chili lime fries, sticky pork bao buns, and other items that were really interesting. So I also went to Hot Dogs on Saturday and got some good hot dogs there, but really fun. And so when they do this, you get the lineup. And you can see here, they call out all the Padres and they call out all the Cubs. I don't know if everyone remembers last year, they show them on the Jumbotron and you're looking at it and you're going, oh my God, when they had Luke Little next to Nick Magical, it was hilarious last year.
That's always funny. Yeah, that is funny. Well, it sounds like you had a great time.
Yeah, there's the American flag. You could see it. Those are season ticket holders that hold it. I've never done that yet. I'm always too busy. I think I'm going to make an effort next year to try to be one of those guys holding it. We had a flyover, Dustin. Nice. The first flyover. Do you remember the last time the Cubs had a home opening flyover?
No idea.
2016. How about that?
Wow. Okay.
There we go. And then, of course, first pitch. How great seeing Ryan Sandberg and the Cubs Hall of Famers out there. Great to see them. We did fly the W. I had to take a picture there. And then the Bleacher Bum Band played a show at Output afterwards. Danny Rocket, you have Bleacher Jeff, Guy Sirius. They absolutely killed it. The crowd is going nuts. A lot of great songs. No Fighting in the Bleacher and Coming Back to Wrigley. So if you like punk rock and you like the Cubs, make sure you follow them around. Absolute blast seeing those guys again. Now, another thing, Dustin, now for the second day, I picked up my season ticket holder pin, and that was at the Landmark Records that we talked about. Looks like this, only for season ticket holders.
Oh, nice.
And so it's like the guitar pick.
Yeah.
And Saturday was the debut of the baby blue uniforms.
Yeah, I heard a lot of mixed reaction. I got a lot of comments from people about this mix.
What was your opinion on it?
I don't mind it. I don't want it every day, but I get it. And from something new, I get everybody's in the business to make money. It's kind of a little bit of an Expos ripoff, but I don't mind it every once in a while.
I liked it. I loved it. I'll tell you, the only thing I would change, Dustin, is the hats. They do have the hats for sale with the same kind of white there, but with the baby blue and not the royal blue. I think they should have gone all baby blue, and I think it would have looked a lot cooler.
All right.
But the other cool thing, Dansby, Swanson, and Shota Imanaga were wearing the high baby blue socks, and that made it look even cooler.
That is very cool.
The giveaway, and this was popular. I'm wearing it, Dustin. I'm wearing it for you.
Yeah, the Cubs flannel. Cubs flannel.
So this is not cheaply made, Dustin. This is nice flannel and nice on those cold games. And so one last thing from my adventures at Wrigley here. Look at this. The Torpedo Bat Company T-shirts, Wrigley Field Torpedo Bat Company. You knew
that
the guys
didn't take long. Yeah, that didn't take long.
You knew they'd be prepared, right, Dustin? But
yeah,
I would tell anybody if you're going down there, it was so great to see everybody again. I'm absolutely thrilled to be able to see my friends down there, everybody that was there that I got to see the workers at Wrigley. They're the ones that truly make Wrigley Field the friendly confines, and always treat them with a lot of respect. Make sure you tip them well, and great to be back at Wrigley Field. And I can't wait for my next game, which is going to be, well, maybe I can. It's going to be freezing cold on Tuesday night against the Rangers, but I cannot wait to get back down to Wrigley once again.
This is the Fly the W670 podcast. The Fly the W podcast. It's season 4. It's episode 19. Cubs meatloaf against the Padres leaves a bad taste in their mouth as we're doing this on a Sunday afternoon. Don't forget to listen, download, review, and subscribe to the Fly the W podcast. 5-star review. We'll take one of those as well. All right, Crowley. After the Cubs take this series, how do they sit in the standings, my friend?
Yep. If we take a look at the standings, and again, I'm not going, it is early, but every time the Cubs are in first place, we're going to take it. This is what I had right before we came on air here. Cubs are at 7-5, and the Brewers are in second place, 5-5. Cardinals 4-4. The Reds and the Pirates stumble out of the gate, 3-7. Still early, but in the last 10 games, the Cubs are 7-3. Just what kills you, Dustin, is it could very easily be 9-1. 9-1 in their last 10.
That's the part. Yep, that's the part that will stick in your craw, as they would say. But hey, listen, they're on top, so let's appreciate that. And they've got a tough team coming into Wrigley. You just mentioned where you're going to be on Tuesday. Those Rangers coming to town, so it's a Monday, Tuesday evening game, and then a 1:20. That one's April the 9th, Wednesday, and Shota Imanaga on the bump on that one. The first game, we've got Justin Steele, Jameson Taillon going to the game that you're attending. Let's make a little prediction for the people, Crowley. I'll go first, and when you've got Steele, Taillon, and Shota Imanaga going, you must take 2 of 3, and that's exactly what our Cubs are going to do. They will take 2 of 3.
I'm a little nervous, and I'm going to tell you, the Rangers are a good team, Dustin. Now, let's see how everybody does in this cold. This is not baseball weather. It's going to feel like below 20 degrees out there.
Well, it's going to feel like that for the Rangers as well, right?
It is, and that's why it's hard to predict these ones. Here's the thing: Justin Steele is 2-1, but he has a 6.89 ERA. Nathan Eovaldi's 1-0 with a 1.20. Jameson Taillon, I was there when he stunk it up and let Eugenio Suarez beat him mercilessly in Arizona.
Well, a lot of guys have gotten that treatment.
6.97 ERA for Taillon against Patrick Corbin. And then Imanaga versus Molly. Molly's 1-0 with a 135. Imanaga 2-0 with a 0.98. That's going to be a great matchup. This is going to be a tough one. I'm going to stay positive for our listeners because it's our first live broadcast, and we're going to be doing it again after the series on Wednesday. But I will go Cubs taking 2 as well. I'm hoping Justin Steele gets it to click. That's going to be the key.
That's a wrap. Don't forget to listen, download, review, and subscribe to the Fly the W podcast. Follow on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, and, of course, we're on Twitter. And don't forget, you can email us, flythew, Crowley's Cubs at gmail.com. Crowley,
Absolutely.
have a great rest of your Sunday, and let's go get those Rangers.
Sir, I will be bundled up, so if you're going to be around, find me at Lucky Door. And again, really important, guys, leave the reviews. That's what makes the difference in all these algorithms. Leave the reviews and subscribe to Crawley's Clubhouse at YouTube and get notifications live so you don't miss anything when we come on live. We want more interaction with you guys. I'm really excited for everyone that kind of jumped in here. My buddy Chip Paleo, he actually came in from Arizona, sat in my seats today, and now he's heading to the Madhouse on Madison to catch the Blackhawks.
Oh, a nice double.
He's got a double going. So let's hope that they get a win for him after he had to see that loss. But hey, you know what? Glad to be back. Glad the Northsiders are in first place. Go Cubs.
It's all over.